Hi, kids. I'm working you through the 10 problem types that were on your assessment. When you do your test corrections, you'll have to do yours like this, but you'll have your own problems from your own individual test that you'll need to do. But this is what it should look like. And by the way, you might get questions that are similar to this, but not exactly the same setup. You'll just need to know how to do these problems in general, okay? But if you get an expression like what's written here and it says evaluate this expression for x equals 5 and y equals 6, what you want to do is you want to first write the expression down as is. You always want to write the original expression unchanged. Okay? And then when you substitute in variables, you put parentheses. So we're going to put parentheses here for the x. And because we're going to put parentheses inside parentheses, we will put brackets here. This is something you need to do. If there's already parentheses and you're going to be then substituting a variable, you need to make the outside ones brackets. Okay? And now we're going to write in the numbers. What is x equal? X is 5, so we're going to put 5 here, 5 there because that's where x's are, and y is 6. Okay? Order of operations then says do what's in parentheses first. Now, by the way, this 5 is inside parentheses because we subbed it in, but there's nothing to do in there. Okay? So we're not going to do this exponents. Remember, order of operations is parentheses or brackets, any grouping symbols, then exponents, then multiplication and division coming from the left, then addition and subtraction. Forgive my writing. My broken arm is causing me to. I'm still weak with my fine motor skills. Anyway, that means that this will stay the same for now. And inside the parentheses, or inside the brackets, we have 5 plus 6, which is 11. Since we no longer have parentheses in there, it will go back to being parentheses on the outside. And now the next step after the parentheses is exponents. So we're going to take this 5 squared, or 5 times 5, and we're going to replace it with 25. That was the step where we were doing exponents, so we can't do this multiplication at this step. We just rewrite it, move to a next step. Now the next step is multiplication and division. The only thing in this problem right here is this, multiplication. So we copy our 25 down, plus 3 times 11 is 33. And finally, we can do this addition. 25 plus 33 is 58. And that is our answer. So up top, where in the box where it says when x equals 5 and y equals 6, then x squared plus 3 parentheses x plus y, close parentheses, the answer is 58. There you go. Okay, for this particular problem, what we're trying to do is say we need to order these from least to greatest, and there's something that's true is that all negative numbers are going to be smaller than any positive numbers. So we've got these two negatives that have to be ordered. They will be the first two. Now let's take a look and try and compare negative 3 with negative 9 over 2. Well, if we did negative 9 over 2, how many times does 2 go into 9? 2 goes into 9 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8. So if we used 8 of these 9 halves, it will be 1 half left over. This is where if you don't know fractions, you're going to have a really hard time being able to do problems like this. Okay, so negative 4.5 is a smaller amount. It's farther from 0, less than 0 than negative 3 is. So it goes negative 4.5, then negative 3. And it's really not negative 4.5, is it? It was actually written as negative 9 halves. So let's write it the way we got it. Negative 9 halves, then negative 3. And then let's take a look at what is left. Okay. Oops. What's left? Well, we have this positive number, and this positive number left. Okay. Well, we know that 1/4, that's less than 1, right? And 4.6 obviously is much greater than that. Okay, so we know that one's going to be bigger. Let's see where root 2 falls. Where the square root of 2 is somewhere between the square root of 1, which is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, and the square root of 4, which is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So this number that they gave us is somewhere between 1 and 2. Okay, so if we're looking back at our numbers, we've got a number that's less than 1, a number that's between 1 and 2, and a number that is more than 4. So we can say, okay, then we will order them in that way. 1/4, then root 2, then 4.6. Okay, and which choice is that? Just erasing all of this. Which choice is that? It is choice, let's see, -9/2, then -3, then 1/4, then root 2, then that is B. There you go. Okay, this one's pretty straightforward. -0.4 squared is the same as -0.4 times -0.4. And we know that a negative times a negative is a positive, so we know we're going to get a positive answer. So we can now not worry about the signs because we already know a negative times negative is positive. Now we've got to do 0.4 times 0.4. And if you know how to do multiplication like this, you say 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1, 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And this particular number here, if we multiply by 0, we get 0, and 0, we just get a string of zeros. It won't add anything to the total. So we're essentially done, except what we need to do is we need to say how many digits in the original problem are behind a decimal. And we have one digit here behind a decimal and another digit behind a decimal. That means that in our final answer, we need 2 digits behind a decimal, like so. And our answer is positive 0.16. Okay, for this one, what are we looking at here? Well, we're going to square root this, but what this is saying is, first of all, we're going to deal with that, and then we'll make it negative at the end. We want our answer to be negative. This is saying the negative square root of whatever we get here. So we know right away that our answer is going to be negative something, okay? Because it's got that negative sitting out front telling us, make this final answer, when you find the square root, make it negative. That's what that means right there. Okay, so now what are we doing? We're basically saying the square root of 121 over 36. And what you need to know here is that you can split the square root to the top and to the bottom separately. And if we say, what's the square root of 121? What number times itself is 121? It's 11. On the bottom, square root of 36, what number times itself is 36? It is 6. Okay? And as you can see, if we went backwards and we said, what is 11/6 times 11/6? We would get 121 over 36, because you do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator, okay? So when you take this and square root it, you get 11/6. And of course, we knew that it was supposed to be negative because they put a negative out front, and that's the answer. So it is A. By the way, the square root is not a real number. It is a real number. We're only dealing with real numbers in this class. All right, for this problem, and I believe I told you to show work on this one. Essentially, what's the work that you show? Well, you show that you're using stay, switch, flip to turn this into a multiplication problem. Stay, this 10 stays a 10. Switch, this division switches to multiplication. And flip, this 1 over 2 becomes 2 over 1, otherwise known as 2. And so what is 10 times 2? It is 20. That's how you do it. You need to turn this division problem into a multiplication problem. If you got 5 because you took half of 10, that's not how, that's if it was multiplication. You need to turn it into multiplication first. Stay, switch, flip. All right, the idea on this one is essentially saying this. You want the negative of all of this. And if you did essentially distributive property, you can think of that as saying negative 1 times, oops, it's like a negative 1 times 5x, or negative 5x, and negative 1 times negative 3, or positive 3. If you ever see a negative sitting right outside of parentheses, that will switch the sign of everything inside. What's the sign of this term right here? Positive. It will become negative now. What's the sign of this term now? It is negative. That will switch it to positive. So the negative out front will switch everything to its opposite sign from what's inside. So instead of positive 5x minus 3, it's negative 5x plus 3. All right, for this one, you want to simplify by essentially first distributing and then combining like terms. So let's distribute first. What is 9 times 2? It is 18. What is 9 times positive t? Positive 9t. Okay, now what is, you want to see this as essentially a negative 5 sitting out front. What is negative 5 times t? Negative 5t. And what is negative 5 times 1? Negative 5. Now we are looking to combine like terms. These are like terms, so we will combine those, and these are like terms. These are the variable terms in t. The variable is t, and so we have 9 t's, and we take away 5 t's, there's 4 t's left over. And what about here? We have 18, take away 5, is 13. There's more positives, so there's going to be positive 13 left over. Your answer is 4t plus 13. You don't know what t is worth, so you can't bring it to a single number, but you can simplify the expression to that. Okay, we're estimating the square root, and to the nearest integer means essentially a whole number, positive or negative, right? So if we have the square root of 91, what's the next square root above it? Square root of 100, which is 10, and below it is the square root of 81, which is 9. Okay, and which is it closer to? So this number, by the way, is somewhere between 9 and 10, because it's somewhere between the square root of 100 and the square root of 81. Okay, it's 10 units away from that, it's 9 units away from that. We'll round it up to 10 because it's closer to there. So we will say the square root of 91 to the nearest integer is about 10 because it's closer to 10. Okay, name the property that the following statement illustrates. Well, first of all, it's addition, so it's going to be either and one of these that talks about it as a property of addition, that one or that one or that one. That part isn't too hard. What happens? Well, what is going on here is that these are switching positions. Okay, and you may remember that I talked about commuters. Commuters are people that go back and forth to work. These numbers are moving back and forth in position, right? So they're commuting or moving around, and it's an addition problem. So it is the commutative property of addition. Okay, that would be the same thing for multiplication if they were being multiplied. Now, what about these other rules? Because on your next test, you might get something else, or you might have had something else on your test. The associative property, I'll do the same thing for addition, sorry. Associative property of addition, it might have been like 2 plus 3 plus 5, and they said associate, or do those first, is the same as 2 plus 3 plus 5, okay? If we associated these two first, we'd have to do it with there first, and we would get 5 plus 5. Here, if we associated those two first and did those first, we would get 2 plus 8, and as you can see, both of them equal 10. The associative property, who you associate with, is who you're grouped with. And you can see here, this is about parentheses and grouping different add-ins, the things that are being added together. Okay, what's the identity property? Well, what can you add to a number and it stays the same thing? What can I add to 78 and it still equals 78? You can add 0 and it stays the same. That's what the identity property is. If you add 0, it's the same. What about the identity property of multiplication? If I wanted to multiply 78 times something and I wanted to end up with 78, what can I multiply it by? I can multiply it by 1. So the identity property of multiplication is saying if you multiply something by 1, it maintains its identity. It stays what it is. There you go. Okay, finally for this one, there wasn't a lot of work to show, but I needed to pick some that you showed work because that's what I'll expect you to do. So what kind of work can you show? Well, you can show this problem where we do the thing that we told you to do, which is to always turn it into an addition problem by changing the sign to its opposite. So -6 stays -6. We change this subtraction to addition, which is the goal, and we change this from a -9 to a +9, okay? And now we're dealing with integers where we're adding things together. We're adding 6 negatives and 9 positives. And again, you should think about it like this. These 6 negatives will cancel out 6 of these positives, but 3 of the positives will be left over because there's more positives that don't end up getting canceled out, okay? There's not enough negatives to cancel all of those 9 positives. It will only cancel out 6 of the positives, and the other 3 positives will be left, so +3. You're going to need to know how to do problems of this type. You're going to need to know the concepts. So you might not get this exact type of problem or any particular type of problem from this test. You'll need to understand those concepts generally. So make sure that you don't just know how to do these problems, but you know how to you understand the concepts generally. Okay? See you in class.